Slight change in my intro joke this time. I haven't drank any soda pop since January, so I couldn't do my standard microphone check. Anyway, good to meet you here. I'm Curtis Wildcat, on YouTube as Phoebe Caden. We're going to be focusing on RoahmMythril this time. For those unfamiliar, he records playthroughs of older video games, completing them 100% where such options are available. Amongst other things, he is best known for his perfect runs of the classic Mega Man series, uncharged to buster shots only, no damage, and no tool or dog-related assistance unless the latter is absolutely necessary. He's also done recordings of some more quote-unquote recent games, most noticeably the Terror Fest of Silent Hill up through Shattered Memories. I first found out about Roam by way of Pink Kitty Rose's Worms Armageddon matches circa 2012. But it took me a while to decide whether or not I wanted to check out his YouTube channel. Finally, I dropped in late in the year, found out that he'd recently done recordings of a couple games I'd played before, and I decided to watch and see what his take on them was. After that, I began delving into his Mega Man vids, and from there I was hooked. There have been a fair number of funny and/or awesome moments in Roam's gaming sessions over the years, and this list will document 10 of my personal favorites. The ones I picked, they might end up surprising you. If it helps, I'll be including a short list of honorable mentions at the end of the video for those that didn't make it. Got nothing further to say, so let's go. First up at number 10, we have something from the perfect run of Drill Man stage. This one's rather understated, but it makes you stop and think about how dangerous Dr. Wily is, and possibly Dr. Cossack too, now that I think of it.
Immediately fall. Oh, there's the cannon form I was talking about. We also have these bizarre switches. The first time I played I thought they were just lights illuminating the path, but no, if you try and jump past without flipping the switch, you actually fall to your death, so these switches are creating land. Apparently if you're a mad scientist with eyes on world domination, you can change the laws of physics. I guess it's the only time you're really allowed to break them, otherwise you have a lot of explaining to do.
Makes sense to me. I mean, if he could come up with all those disappearing block puzzles, then surely large chunks of land aren't too far out of his reach. The sky's the limit. Or in this case, the ground's the limit. For number 9, we go to the Kirby Superstar Challenge, and more specifically, the ninja videos. I can't say too much about this without spoiling it, so let's just go ahead and watch.
Because he gets to have the bar all to himself, and I somehow killed him going invisible. You know, it's embarrassing to lose health to Wispy Woods, but that was just funny enough to keep. Okay, you can hurt things by going invisible. Well, Kit wondered if there was a purpose to it. Apparently there is.
That actually looks like a neat trick. I mean, you may pull it off, but you will or you won't. Alright, I'll stow the puns for now. Spoil sports. Anyway, number 8's from the second gag reel, and it's the only one from that series to make it on this list. I'll save my explanation for this one after the clip.
As well as this rather awesome sequence of Ninja turning into a Higsby. Yeah, that's the way it works.
Higsby turning into a ninja is awesome, sure. But when you think about it, a ninja turning into a Higsby is a whole other brand of cool. To me, it proves that they like Higsby enough to take that hairstyle for themselves. Though if you really want to walk around with hair like that, you probably wouldn't care about stealth anymore, huh? Number 7 takes us to Proto Man's Fortress in Mega Man 5 and into one of the outtakes. Birds, they just do not like Roam. And it's not just the malevolent ones either.
Right. After... Suddenly bird!
Alternatively, it could mean that Beat never got the memo about it being a perfect run, as opposed to a standard playthrough. Whatever. For number 6, we skip over to Secret of Mana. During Roahm's playthrough, the third member of the party, named by him as Pranko, was known for repeatedly being the first to die in battle. Late in the game, however, the table suddenly turned.
Wow, Valor's dead. Wonderful. Elise is dead. Hey, for once, the sprite's the only one still alive. How did that happen? Okay,
If you imagine that it was Pranko himself who triggered the chorus, whether it was out of genuine happiness or joyful sarcasm, it gets a little more amusing. At least from my perspective anyway, I can't speak for others. Halfway through the list, let's keep going to number 5. On especially windy days, like how it gets here in Kansas from time to time, having things fly right at you can be a real nuisance. On a trip to Tengu Man's stage in Mega Man 8, the reverse was true as well.
Just get out of here! What? Oh, that didn't just happen. I did not just faceplant into a party ball. Oh, gods, I did.
Yeah, nothing to say about this one that wasn't painfully obvious. Let's move on. For number 4, we make a quick jaunt to Hyrule during The Legend of Zelda's second quest. At one point, Roahm left an enemy on screen before dropping inside a cave to get a heart container. As things turned out, well, you'll see.
Okay, fine, you drift around. I'm gonna whistle for a staircase. Take any one you want. Gee, I wonder. And so we have another heart container. And a magic trick. I was fairly sure I left a pea hat out here. Well, that's different.
That one kinda speaks for itself. For those curious, I'd have to double check to make sure, but I think that's related to whatever process the game uses for randomly generating enemies. Don't quote me on that. Into the top 3 we go. We now meet up with one Soma Cruz, who is traveling to Oregon by way of Castlevania nearly 2 centuries late. Barring several oddities, such as swords being weaker than knives for some reason, his journey seemed to be going rather well, until suddenly, disaster strikes.
Gladiator throws wheels at enemies. Strange effect, but I'm not gonna complain, just so long as I have that pain in the tail. Yeah, pretty much what it says on the tin. Of all things that could have been the effect of that soul, I would not have expected that.
Happily for all involved, the danger was not genuine. After throwing the wheel, Soma was able to safely complete his journey through the castle, finish his trek to Oregon, and open a successful paperclip factory. Though, just between you and me, I still think he should have tried talking to Hammer first. Second place goes to disc number 91 in the Mega Man and Bass Completing the Database project. Some of the discs were in plain sight, others were tricky, others were problematic, and then we have one that was pure chaos from start to finish.
For disc 91, we start here in Groundman stage, in the Grand Hall of Danmaku. Yes, lots of enemy shots to dodge. Let's just get through here quickly, shall we? Why that one goes right over my head, I don't know. But, whoa, hey. Who invited you to the party? If we're all quite done now... The sparkles for the disc were right over here, and that's the wrong place, Rush. He dug it up anyway? Alright, I'm keeping this just for how weird it was.
It's weird. The few times I've watched that video on my 2DS's YouTube app, it always tries to stop and load some more footage right in the middle of that sequence. To my knowledge, it's never done that anyplace else in the video. Guess even the system thought it was chaotic enough to warrant buffering. Finally, we've reached number 1. As I've said before with Pink, if you've been following Roahm's channel for as long as I have, then you know it's in first place before I say it. It concerns the Robot Master that's by far his greatest video game related foe, and I'm guessing some of you are nodding your heads already. The following moment is actually a few minutes long, but I'm sure his Blaze is not going to add extra time and megabytes to this video by showing it in its entirety. No, I'm going to break it up into chunks and provide potentially unfitting background music as accompaniment. With that disclaimer out of the way, sit down and strap in, and let's cut the footage to the quick, shall we?
Never a time where he will only jump once and never throw boomerangs. He will always throw boomerangs. Oh gods, here we go. Dark quick time. Alright. Wait. It's done? That was a close thing. I think I was about to eat boomerang. Oh gods, it's done!
A few years ago, while Pink was doing her no-damage run of Shovel Knight, I told her in a video comment that I respected her for having the patience to handle the trickier parts of it, to which she told me that it was more a case of being stubborn than anything else. Having thought about it since then, I'm inclined to disagree. Having patience and being stubborn in my experience tend to go hand in hand. You need a certain amount of patience to be willing to tackle video games this way, and you need to have enough tenacity to see it through to the end. It especially helps if you like said video games to start with. With that said, what I told Pink before applies here as well. I have to respect anyone who has the ability and drive to pull off lengthy or insane stunts, using the Doc Quick fight we saw as an example. Since I'm more a casual gamer than anything else, what major non-Pokemon related accomplishments I have could be counted on one hand. To think people can actually do these things boggles my mind at times, but if they're able to do so, still keep their sanity and still have fun, then more power to them. I like watching those things. Well, nothing left except the honorable mentions and my closing comments. If you do and you liked what you saw here, then head over to Roahm's channel and check things out over there. I'll be including a link in the description. I have no idea when or even if I'll be posting anything else on my channel. Working on stuff like this takes a lot of my time and energy, and with due respect to PM Dawn, it's not like reality has ever been a friend of mine. But in the event that I do feel up to posting something else in the next year or two, all I have to say is, ciao mein, and I'll see you next time. Man, I hate talking that long. It does a number on my voice. I can exit out and... Wait a minute. Well, hold on, wasn't there supposed to be one more of those?
Oh, hi, Shovel.